Hello and welcome back to Little Scholars Tutoring for Story Time. My name is Miss Murphy and I will be reading your story today. So it is the month of June and this is our zoo series, the month where all of our characters are visiting the zoo. So you should have already seen the story about Clifford visiting the zoo, and we had another story that was titled Put Me in the Zoo, and both of those characters were actually here with us while we read that story. Today's book, we don't have the character with us, but we'll still read the book, and the book is called Curious George Visits the Zoo. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So this is George, and George was a good little monkey and always very curious. One day, George's friend, the man with the yellow hat, said, "How would you like to see a real elephant, George? Let's go to the zoo." So here's Curious George with his friend in a yellow hat, and they're looking at a book with animals in it. He says, "Hey, let's go to the zoo and see real animals." There was a lot to see at the zoo. There were the giraffes with necks so long, they seemed to reach the sky. Can you guys see all of the animals? We have a seal. We have the elephant. What's this? Yes, kangaroos and the giraffes. Look at their long necks. Yes, very good. And the kangaroos carrying their babies in special pockets. And finally, there were the elephants with their floppy ears and their long trunks. And they were munching on hay. It was lunchtime, and George was starting to feel hungry. You see the kangaroos with their babies? And over here, the elephants are munching on hay. What do you think George eats hay? He was getting hungry. Yes, he does? No? Oh, okay, let's see what happens. He saw people enjoying their lunches on park benches and other people having a picnic on grass. Do you guys take a snack when you go to the zoo? Yes, the zoo is big, so you might have to take a snack and maybe even some water, right? So the man with the yellow hat says, "I am going to find out what time they feed the lions," said the man with the yellow hat. "Please wait here and try not to get in trouble, George." He said, "Try not to get in trouble, George." Look at George looking at the seal. But then over here is the zookeeper, and the zookeeper is carrying a pail of what? Bananas. For the who? Who eats bananas at the zoo? Yes, the monkeys. Oh, let's see if George stays out of trouble. The keeper put the pail down to get a drink at the water fountain, but George was really hungry. So he grabbed that pail and he ran with it. "Hey," shouted the keeper, "stop that monkey." But George was running. He was running so fast, he kept going. You see George? Oh my goodness. Is he being good? No. Okay, let's see what happens next. There was a crowd of people standing near the monkey house. This would be just the place for George to hide. Standing by the cage was a little boy holding a red balloon with a long string. All of a sudden, one of the monkeys reached out and snatched the string from the boy's hand. You guys, look at what's happening. Oh my goodness. So George was thinking this is a good place for me to hide because there are other what? Monkeys. But one of the monkeys reached out and grabbed the what? Oh, he grabbed the red balloon. Do you think he gave it back? No? Okay, let's see what happens. The monkey took off with the balloon and climbed all the way to the top of the cage. Look, he took the balloon and he climbed way to the top of the cage. But when he tried to squeeze the balloon through the bars, it was too big, and the other monkey started to shriek and scream. You see, he's trying to pull that balloon through the bars. Did it fit? No, it did not fit. And the other monkeys were like, ooh, 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 ah, right? The little boy started to cry. Please, can somebody get his balloon back? Asked his mother, but none of the people could reach that high. George knew exactly what to do. With the pail in his hand, he climbed up to the very top of the cage. Look at George, you guys. Is he about to save the day? Oh, I think so. I think he's going to help save the day. Let's see what happens. He took a few bananas and fed them to the monkeys. And while the monkeys were eating, what did George do? Oh, while the monkeys were eating, George snatched the balloon and swung down from the cage. So he took those bananas that he wanted to eat and he fed them to the monkeys. Did he save the balloon? Yes. Let's see what happens next. He handed the balloon back to the boy. Just then, the man with the yellow hat came running. George, the man cried, I have been looking for you all over. Please don't be angry with him, said the mother. He saved my son's balloon. Aw, wasn't that nice? You guys see? The man in the yellow hat was like, hey, I've been looking for you. But the mommy said, but he saved the balloon. Don't be mad at him. George had saved the day. You see? But he was still so very hungry. Now it's time to feed ourselves, George, said the man. And that's what they did. What is George eating? He's eating bananas. Very good. Good job, George. He saved the day. And that's the end of that story. Curious George Visits the Zoo. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for today's story. I hope that you get a chance to visit the zoo. We have one more book in our zoo series that I hope you enjoy watching. So make sure you come back next week, Monday, for the next book. I will see you later. Bye.